Alright everyone, most of Chicago is undefended by far-left rioting commie thugs, BLM members throwing bricks, Antifa members hitting things with baseball bats, and occasionally trying to burn cop stations down. But there's one block in Chicago that's safe, and so the people that have, like, property there, they're saying hallelujah because they are so goddamn lucky to be on the same block as Miss Lorilightfoot, the mayor of Chicago. You're not allowed to protest there. Now, I'm flummoxed about this. Why would it be a problem? They're peaceful protests. Why shouldn't they be able to come? When Antifa comes up to you with a baseball bat, they want to play baseball. They're not violent people. The New York Times assures me that there's not a single significant crime associated with Antifa so far. You know, arson and billions in damage aside, it's not significant. It's just a little graffiti. I've literally had people claim these are protests of peace and it's just a little graffiti. They didn't need to send in the feds. Yeah, after a dozen people had already died across the U.S. associated with it. Remember Sequoia Turner? No, because she never got any airplay in the media. 8-year-old black girl shot by a BLM sympathizer. That doesn't matter. Cannon Hinnant didn't matter either. But Ilhan Omar will literally never shut up about that other chick that died because the cop shot her. And that one, probably another screwy scenario. You know, we'd find out that George Floyd basically died of a massive overdose and was already going into having cardiac problems when he got stopped by the cops in the first place. It's definitely negligence, but it wasn't murder too, and the cop will be exonerated on those charges, meaning you can look at people in Minneapolis can look forward to another wave of riots thanks to the legacy media implanting in people's minds the falsehood that George Floyd was murdered in the first place. So you thank CNN for that. Definitely, when CNN's building there in Atlanta got vandalized, it was the funniest, most symbolic shit I've ever seen. Anyway, you're not allowed to protest around Lori Lightfoot's block. When BLM members are throwing bricks around, they're just trying to repair the sidewalk. Dude, obviously they do brick masonry. They're engineers, and so they've got construction equipment. When you see someone carrying a bag of bricks towards you, they're not going to hit you with the brick. They're just repaving. See, they're being helpful and repairing damage done by those evil white supremacist plants in the crowd that are the ones actually doing the violence. This is like considered to be reality by a significant proportion of Americans because of the stupidity of the fucking corporate complex. And because of idiots, bitches like Lori Lightfoot. She's an idiot. Doesn't fucking goddamn know what to do, and so she cordons herself off from the little people that are angry. And part of the anger is aimed at like local police forces. Well, who the fuck oversees the police force? It isn't evil Drumpf. It's Lori Lightfoot. Why do you think she's being threatened by people? I bet anything that more of the threats are coming from the left, because the Chicago PD is actually in some cases responding to the looting and rioting. It's just like with Seattle. You remember, there's a petition out there to try to recall the mayor of Seattle, which, by the way, should definitely go forward. She should be kicked out. But it's not because of sitting there and doing nothing and proclaiming support for rioters. It's not for allowing the Chaz bullshit to happen. It's not for allowing a literal armed insurrection to last for several weeks in your city and refusing to get involved on behalf of local business owners who were repeatedly harassed and abused by these thugs. It wasn't because you refused to do anything as stores were destroyed, as homes and shops were looted. It wasn't because of that. It was because the police used tear gas. That's why they're trying to recall the mayor of Seattle. Problem? Everyone else hates her too. The recall will probably succeed because they don't have any allies. The entire city is split into two groups of people. People that are pissed at the response being too much, and people that are pissed because there really wasn't a response for the first few weeks. I hope the recall succeeds. You should get rid of Lightfoot too. The problem, Chicago is so massively far left, and by the way, drags all of Illinois along with it as a single city in a largely rural state. They're extreme far leftists, so the only thing that you could replace her with is someone who primaries her out from within the Democratic Party, who will have fundamentally the same corrupt machine policies. That's the problem with major urban areas tend to be the most corrupt, specifically because you have that sort of machination. You have a hyper-partisan climate. Severe right, severe left, it doesn't really matter. It's sort of like the urban equivalent to a one-horse town that's everyone's a Republican. And so somebody who wants to reform it from without that political system, they can't do it. The problem, if you've got a corrupted political system, in order to actually get in and run as a Republican and therefore potentially win, you have to shake hands in the back room with all the other people. So you will be in turn corrupted. That's the way it works in little one-horse towns where the sheriff is also the mayor. It's also the way it works in Chicago. It's very funny when elite coastal liberals talk about how, no, I get so afraid when I have to go through that little town because everyone it's just a bunch of white people with cowboy hats and Confederate flags and it scares me. It's the same goddamn fucking mentality. It's the same goddamn fucking form of corruption, except in urban areas it tends to be worse because you got more police. The police commissioner shakes hands with the mayor. And the chief shakes hands with the commissioner. And the beat cops, I'm sure on day one of the job, if the chief is corrupt, the first thing that they do is they have to snort a line of coke on camera or something like that so that they have dirt on them. Well, yeah, we can fight. Yeah, no, you're part of the union, but don't worry. If you step out of line, step out of that thin blue line, you're fucking gone. Anyway, Lorilightfoot is a vapid hypocrite. The people of Chicago are suffering like the people of many other cities within the U.S. But keep in mind again, and I will always reiterate this because otherwise my words will be used to blackpill people. This is a tiny cringe fringe of the left-wing fringe within specifically that part of U.S. politics. It is virtually all related to a handful of urban areas, and it's a tiny proportion of those populations. Overall, it's a few tens of thousands of people. One town's worth of people scattered across the entire United States are the only people right now rioting. And then you have a little bit more, you have looting that's attended to that. Because once the riot begins and the cops are distracted, other people will act out and loot. And the coronavirus lockdowns aren't helping because a lot of those idiots wouldn't go out at all. If they had like something maybe semi-productive to do, like if they could be going to the theater, walking around the mall, or something like that, maybe they wouldn't be smashing windows at the moment. You know, and also you close up these business fronts and they're largely unguarded. The business owners hasn't shown up in the last 2 months. What the fuck do you expect to happen? You know, so the mayor of Chicago is a freak of nature. She's so full of shit that her head is swollen, is what I've said. And I think that that's actually true. It's fucking dripping out of her ears because she's just so full of herself and full of fucking shit. That's about all. Peace out.